Hello, everyone. Today is Thursday, March 18th, and we are into our fourth day of learning about the string instrument family. Yesterday, we dove into a couple of unique string instrument family instruments, the harp and the banjo. And of course, before that, the previous 2 days, we were learning about the violin family, the cousins of the violin, and that's the violin, the viola, the cello, and the double bass. So thus far, you have learned about 6 string instruments, and we have 4 more to go. So we have 2 per day. So all in all, 10 total string instruments. And each of these string instruments, very much so important in the string family. They each have their own. They each have their own feel. They each have their own fan base. I would say they each have their own interests. But these 2 particular instruments, these 2 are probably the most recognizable of the string family, and probably the most versatile of each of these instruments. So today we're going to learn about 2 familiar instruments that you may know, and we're going to start with the acoustic guitar. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen this instrument at this point in your life. It is, all over television. Your parents might have one, your brother and sister might play. It's a very fun instrument, and a lot of people, just pick this instrument as the one they want to try. The guitar is a popular musical instrument classified as a string instrument with usually anywhere between 4 to 18 strings, usually having 6. That's a pretty standard number, is 6. Guitars are traditionally constructed from wood and strung with either gut, nylon, or steel strings, and distinguished from the other strings by its construction and tuning. So you'll see some instruments that are made of, they have a bigger handle on it, or a bigger neck is what they call it. So they have more strings on it. All right, these instruments vary by the size, vary by the sound, and what they're made of really makes the instrument sound particular, and who makes the instrument makes it sound like a particular instrument. So we're going to move on to a couple videos showcasing the guitar. In our first video, we have a video of America's most popular guitar brand, and you'll see here what brand that is.
Johnny Cash was a great fan of Martin guitar. Willie Nelson, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Eric Clapton, of course, Ed Sheeran. It's a remarkable roster of artists that love Martin guitars. The craftsmanship is remarkable. Everybody here loves guitars, loves guitar music, and loves the idea that we're making something that makes life better. The business was founded by my great-great-great-grandfather in 1833. When he decided to get into the guitar building business, he set a very high bar for himself. I feel an obligation to make sure that every one of today's Martin guitars is as good as every Martin guitar that he made, and his son, and his son's son, and on down through the generations. There are hundreds of steps involved in making one Martin guitar. You want to make these parts as precisely as possible, but once you've got those parts and pieces, it's the human hand that does a fantastic job of putting them together. And we're really proud of it. We want you to see how a Martin guitar is made.
Here at our Nazareth factory, we have about 500 employees. There's a very specific formula that goes into building one of our guitars. The woods have to be a certain thickness. The braces have to be a certain thickness. You can't have the woods too thick or you're not going to get the sound you want out of it. We try to build the guitar to a point where it's almost so thin that it might implode on itself.
The wood is an integral part of not only the aesthetics, but the sound. Guitar builders, through trial and error, discovered that exotic tropical hardwoods work really well if you want to make a really good sounding guitar that's beautiful and durable.
Right here we have a guitar where the body is made out of sinker mahogany. This wood has been immersed in streams in Belize for could be hundreds of years.
People can be skeptical. Are they still handmade? And then you get about halfway through the tour, people kind of go, yeah, they're still handmade. And now I understand why they're so expensive. It's a challenge. It's complicated. And it takes time.
If I could choose what to come back as, it would be a Martin OM45. Now, when Eric Clapton says that about one of your instruments, that means a lot.
What I think is really cool about when a famous musician is playing a Martin guitar is they discovered how cool Martin guitars were on their own. We don't give Martin guitars away. We don't pay people to play Martin guitars.
This guitar here is a 1953 D18 that was owned by Kurt Cobain. He liked the guitar. It was old and beat up. He gave it the nickname Grandpa. Used it for a couple of years. I believe he might have used it on Nirvana's first 2 albums, but then he ended up giving it back to his ex-girlfriend at the time. This is Hank Williams' 1947 D18. People come from all over the world to see this guitar. Recently, a gentleman came from Canada, and we let him play it. And as soon as he started playing it, he just started crying because it meant that much to him.
We're doing something here pretty special. We're making the best of its kind.
A lot of companies try to figure out the way we build. And I mean, anybody can come to our factory and take this tour and see how we do it. But there's a tone you can only get from a Martin guitar.
I can't tell you exactly what the secret formula is. Patience, perseverance, trust.
It's just something special about the materials we use and the hand craftsmanship that's passed down from generation to generation.
It's complicated. And that's why, maybe you really need to have been doing it for 186 years to be able to do it as well as we do.
Awesome. And of course, if you're following along on LinearPod, you can go ahead and click next. And we are going to go on to the next acoustic guitar demonstration video. And if you did not know what that song was, that was Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which you may have heard that tune before if you were recognizing it. Okay, we're moving on to the other guitar that most people have heard or would be aware of, and that is the electric guitar. Electric guitars were introduced in the 1930s using an amplifier that can electronically manipulate and shape the tone. So these instruments aren't very old. They're relatively new compared to other instruments and when they were made. Early amplified guitars employed a hollow body, but a solid body was eventually found more suitable. So when they're saying that, they're saying um, acoustic guitars, if you were watching, they have a hollow inside. They're made of wood, and on the inside is just nothing in there. But they found that electric guitars are more they're better sounding when there's nothing inside. They're solid, or not nothing, sorry. They're solid inside, so they make them out of wood sometimes, I would say, but mostly metal or plastic or some sort of resin type. But normally these instruments are very solid, and you can bang on it and you can hear that it's solid. And this produced less feedback. So when there's less room to move around, there's less space to move around inside the acoustic or the electric guitar. That means that the sound is more produced outside of the speaker when it comes out of the speaker. Electric guitars have had a continuing profound influence on popular culture, metal, punk, reggae, pop, rock, soul, and many forms of pop. Even rap music today uses the electric guitar. So we're going to watch a couple videos of the electric guitar, and you'll see a couple demonstrations of songs that are very similar, played on both guitar and then on first acoustic and then electric. pretty cool video. Just get to see a live demonstration of what one sounds like on one song versus the other, right on that same song. Very cool video there. Moving on to our next showcase of the electric guitar. You guys may know this song. Well, I'll tell you what, that made me want to be an electric guitar player, that's for sure. Hope you enjoyed that video. I thought that was a great guitar cover of that song that you guys probably know very well. We are going to finish this off with a poll, a quick poll. Just go ahead. Would you rather be really good at the acoustic guitar, or would you rather be good at the electric guitar? Now, before you pick your answer here, I'll tell you one thing about the acoustic guitar. The acoustic guitar is cool because you could bring it anywhere with you and be really good at it. So if I were to be really good at acoustic guitar, which I'll be honest, Mr. Isaac is not very good at the acoustic guitar, I would be able to easily just bring it into the school and play it whenever I want. With an electric guitar, you're going to need a whole setup. You're going to need to make sure you have your cord. You're going to need to make sure you have your amp that amplifies your music when it comes out. So I will say being good at acoustic guitar is more versatile, but the electric guitar is pretty cool. So pick which one you want, electric or acoustic guitar, and I'll see which instrument is the most popular of the two with you all. If I had to pick which one to be really good at, I would say acoustic guitar. And the cool thing about the acoustic guitar, for me at least, you don't have to say acoustic guitar, but you can also plug in an acoustic guitar to an amp as well. Some of them, not all of them, but some acoustic guitars you can plug in and amplify the sound of the acoustic guitar. Especially now, modern guitars more likely have an amp plug cord than others. Go ahead and submit what your answer is, and I will see the results. As always, Mr. Isaac has three things for you. You are kind, you are smart, you are important. I look forward to the day we can make music together again. And until then, have an awesome day.